everybody should walk away with knowing more than what they came in here, and everybody should be able to walk away with this with some actionable steps that they can start using generative AI. If you aren't already, if you are, you'll be able to use it even better. We're using AI in a way that helps reduce the noise, reduce the friction, and help make our lives a whole lot easier, both at work and outside of work. So today we're going to talk about how AI, specifically generative AI and ChatGPT, can help eliminate that from your life. So here's what I did, is I just simply asked ChatGPT, how could it do it? And here's what it did. Everybody familiar with ChatGPT? Everybody using it today? I hope not, because I don't want this to be, if you are, this is going to be a little bit of a refresher. So I simply went to ChatGPT and said, hey, my life's like that. How can you, I'm a facility manager. How can you help me unclutter my life, my work life? And I said specifically, how can ChatGPT help busy facility managers who are often asked to do more with less, operate and maintain increasingly complex buildings, continuously learn to keep up with the industry trends, plan and execute in a post-pandemic office environment, keep up with administrative tasks, right? Goes on and on and on. And I get a 7-point action plan with some details, right, of how it can help. I'm Brandon Bunt, CEO and co-founder of Trilogy Corporate Services. Susan, thanks for the introduction. What Trilogy does is we provide optimized cleaning services to commercial buildings, powered by Trilogy Copilot. If you want to learn more about that, we can talk about it after the session. We're not going to talk about that today because we're here to learn about AI. But first, a little bit more about me. My wife and I and our 3 kids, we live in Milford. Born and raised in Michigan. I'm a pretty avid reader and audiobook listener. Try to usually do at least one a week or 2. Highly recommend this book, High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. Lots of big takeaways. So if any of you are interested in reading or audio like that, check this one out. So before we get started, I want to give a big thank you to some of the people in the room. First, my team. Some of my team members are here. They're sitting over there. Thank you for helping put together this presentation. Thank you for helping put together all the powerful tools that are in the packets in front of you. I want to thank IFMA and the board for asking me to talk on this topic. It's a pretty exciting and important topic for me. I would also like to thank all the allied suppliers who are in the room. I know we have a lot of vendors and service providers. Thanks for being in the room to help improve the industry. And last but not least, thank you to all the facility managers and professionals who are here advancing what all of us do. So with that, can everybody just raise their hands for a minute? We're going to do a little bit of group participation. So everyone raise their hand. Okay. Put your hand down if you are not using ChatGPT and generative AI. If you're not using it, put it down. Okay. If you are only using it about monthly, right, once or twice a month, put your hand down. If you're using it weekly, put your hand down. And if you're using it daily, put your hand down. Okay, look at my team over there. See, now they're cheating, because I know they're using it daily. Okay, that's great. After today, all of you will take a really hard look at using ChatGPT daily, just as often as you go to Google or turn on your car. So here's what our takeaways are. We're going to cover a lot of ground today, and we're going to try to pack a lot into the short amount of time we have, so that way everybody leaves curious and with a couple action items. Here are the 3 things that I would really like everybody to walk away with. An overview of what generative AI is, also known as generative artificial intelligence. Specifically the product, ChatGPT. We're going to talk about a bunch of ideas how facility managers can start using that product today. And then we're going to give you some tips, tricks, and some powerful tools to get more out of ChatGPT than what you're already getting. Those tools we've got both in print, and then there are some digital companions that you can download. They're in your packet. So everybody should have, can everybody hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, good. In your packet, it's in front, everybody have a black folder? Okay, great. Everybody should have a bunch of articles in there. There are some guides, there are some templates, and then there are some how-tos. There's also a note-taking sheet. So if you have questions, a few spots during the presentation, I'm going to ask for a few questions. Write them down, and then we'll cover them then. And then, of course, notes, if you hear of any good ideas, you hear of any action items, write those down so that way you can come back, because we are going to cover a lot of ground. Sometimes I talk a little fast, so if I am, just somebody give me a visual cue and I will slow down. Okay, let's jump into generative AI. So generative AI, generative artificial intelligence, what comes to mind, right? Anybody want to raise hands? When I say generative AI, artificial intelligence, human-like artificial intelligence, what are people thinking? Okay, robots. What else? What is that one? iRobot. Okay. Oh boy. It's this kind of crowd. What was it? iRobot. My spelling's gotten worse because I use ChatGPT a lot. So there are some downsides to it. It makes you a little lazy in some areas. What else? What else comes to mind? Robots, iRobot, the movie, kind of a little apocalyptic, like it's going to take over the world. What else? It can paint pictures?
Fake.
Oh, fake pictures. Uh-oh. Fake pictures. What else? Come on, guys.
Term papers.
Term papers? Okay. I told you. My team knows this. They have to, ChatGPT proofreads all my stuff. What else, guys? A couple more. Give me at least two more.
Time saver.
Time saver. Okay. Time saver. Anything else along those lines? Automated. Okay, cool. Okay. Automated. There we go. Okay, so for me, let's talk about generative AI a little bit, and then let's see if this changed. So generative AI is different than the AI that came before it, which was traditional AI. Generative AI is actually able to take and serve up unique and original content, which means it's able to create things that don't exist right now. Words, essays, papers, images, songs, scripts, even video. It can create a whole host of content from small amounts and large amounts of input, whereas the AI prior to this that we're all actually used to using, you may not know it, could not do it. It could only serve up things that were already created, a lot like a search engine does. The way it does it is it learns from large amounts of data that it absorbs. It learns patterns, it has been taught to find patterns, and then it regurgitates, it does not regurgitate, it then takes and produces original content a lot like a human would. Here's kind of the technical side of it, okay? So stick with me, everybody with me? Okay. So we've got three key terms that come to mind when we talk about generative AI. We've got machine learning, LLM, which stands for large language models, and feedback, okay? So machine learning is, when we hear this is not the Terminator. This is not Arnold Schwarzenegger being taught how to come and take over our lives. Simply what it is it's a computer program that was designed to recognize patterns. It's a lot like how we would teach a child, right? A child would learn how to talk is by being around people who are talking, right? And you would read to a child and you would take and put them in life experiences, right? And they would see and learn patterns, and then they can start to assemble all their own words. They do this, then they take a large language model, which is a big neural network with lots and lots of content, and they take and they feed it into the model, so then it gets to see more patterns, and it can put together things like, finish the sentence, like a dog is an animal. A dog is a pet. A dog can bark. Then the last thing it does is human trainers take and give it feedback, okay? This is the supervisory part of AI, where trainers spend thousands and thousands of hours taking and getting responses from the model and tell it, is it right? Is that right? Is that appropriate? Is that ethical? So for instance, if you were to go to ChatGPT and ask it to help you rob a bank, it would tell you it can't do that because it's been trained not to help human beings commit crimes. Does this make sense? Okay.
Is that actually true?
I'm sure you could hack it, but I'm not going to teach you how to hack it. So, okay. Specifically, we all hear about, or we probably all heard or read about ChatGPT, okay? ChatGPT is a product by OpenAI. OpenAI is the company. They have lots of products, but they're the ones that they're a predominant player in the artificial intelligence, the generative AI behind the product, okay? So I want you to think of ChatGPT simply as the intermediary, okay? It allows us, for the first time, people like us in the room and people all over the world, to be able to actually talk to a computer, unlock its infinite amount of abilities and possibilities, and talk to us like a human being would be. Just talk like you and I would have a conversation, okay? And we can go as deep or we can go as high level as we want to, okay? It is human-like text inputs, human-like outputs. Make sense? Okay, good. I like to think of it as an Einstein in my pocket, okay? Except this Einstein in my pocket has access to all of the knowledge, all of the intelligence that mankind has ever created, right? It's the sum of all intelligence, and it's able to do it really, really fast, all right? So who here wants Einstein in their pocket? I know I do, okay? It never gets tired. It never gets cranky. It never gets impatient. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can get it on your laptop, on your tablet, or on your phone. So now you can take Einstein with you wherever you want to go. I also like to think about it as a personal assistant, okay? So what we're doing is we're taking this thing, artificial intelligence, which is kind of big and a little scary, right? According to some of the responses we got earlier. And we're taking it and we're turning it into a chatbot, right? We're turning it into a personal assistant that literally we can use for just about any task, just about any, lots of things that you probably haven't thought of, which is why most of you are here. And it has access to trillions amounts of data. And it is learning and it is growing at epic proportions. So you guys want to see some of the cool stuff that it does? Yeah? Okay. Okay. So the picture of this man cleaning his gutters, right? I just simply fed it into ChatGPT. I copy and pasted it in just like I would be texting a friend, and I said, hey, please tell me the safety issues with this photo. Now, every facility manager in the room could probably point out the safety issues with this photo, correct? Right? If you can't, there's going to be another session in that side of the room after this one about OSHA, okay? But I played dumb. What's wrong with this photo? Looks like the man's cleaning his gutters, right? Well, ChatGPT gave me this. This is my prompt. This is what I just told it, asked it to do, and this is what it told me, right? It gave me 10 points about what it saw. So the artificial intelligence model behind this was able to read this image. I think it's pretty fascinating, right? It is not perfect. If we go down to number 8, height and position, I can see that he's on the 4th rung. ChatGPT couldn't tell it. It thought that based on the position, based on how it read the photo, right? And maybe it read it a little too fast. Maybe if I hit regenerate, it may have given me something different. So, so we're going to talk about today, you need to apply a little scrutiny to its results. It's on the path to perfection. It is not perfect yet. Fun facts, ChatGPT, the product from OpenAI that allows us to access generative AI, has been around for a little over a year. It took took about 2 months for it to reach 100 million users, and you can get started for free, okay? Would anybody want to guess how long it took Facebook to reach 100 million users? How many years? 2, more, 10, less, 4? Getting close. So I just asked ChatGPT, how long did it take Facebook, Gmail, Instagram, Uber, TikTok, and of course ChatGPT to reach 100 million users? The winner, ChatGPT, 2 months. Facebook, 55 months to reach 100 million users. I just thought that was fascinating. Then, because I'm a little lazy and I didn't want to make this chart, I just said, wow, great ChatGPT. Can you take and make a chart for this? I didn't even tell, did I tell it why? No, I just said, make a chart for this. I didn't like the first iteration that it kicked out because it wasn't really pretty. I said, pretty this up. And this is what I got. And then I just added the logos because it won't grab those logos for you because of copyright. What it would normally take, that chart isn't pretty sophisticated, right? And it wouldn't take me a whole lot of time to put together, but some people it might, right? You got to go and you got to do the research. You got to plug it into the spreadsheet. Then you got to make a graph. So this is just a little tiny example of how you can use generative AI to do a lot of stuff you may have not otherwise have done. It's growing and learning. A lot of people are scared about the learning part. The good news is it's not really learning on its own. It's learning in a supervised way. The P in ChatGPT is pre-trained, okay? So we're going to debunk a few myths, but it is a pre-trained product. It is not actually teaching its model live with your data. AI has been around for quite a bit. So we've been working with traditional AI every single day for several decades, okay? Traditional AI is the predecessor to generative AI. It's in Google Translate, right? Translate this. So it goes to a database and matches your request with some data. It takes, and it's not creating any new content, right? Apple Siri. I'm an Android guy, so I don't know much about Siri except that you can ask, it's like Alexa, right? Or Google Assistant. You can ask it, but basically it's just serving up things that already exist. Same thing with YouTube. What it will do, however, is make suggestions, right? Oh, you like watching airplane videos? Hey, you might want to watch these rocket videos. Something interesting is Google Translate cannot create a new language. ChatGPT can create a new language if you ask it to. Okay, so everybody with me still? Still? Are we on time?
When you say new language, you mean a new language?
I mean a new language.
Language that's never been spoken before.
Correct. It can create original content that you could not possibly imagine. So it's a big rabbit hole you can go down. Believe me, you'll be whipping out your phone after this and going down that rabbit hole. Okay, let's talk about some myths and hype. I like to call them AI distractions, okay? They are things that are going to make you afraid of using it, keep you from using it. They're just white noise, right? It's just very noisy, great headline grabbers. I don't know if some are true. AI could wipe out humanity. There's a lot of things that could wipe out humanity. We just came out of a pandemic, right? Like there are all kinds of things. We're not really going to talk about that today. I just want you to know that I believe they are distractions, okay? So the top 3 myths that we do need to debunk right now, so that way you can use it a little better, is number 1, AI is replacing humans. AI is not replacing humans. AI is making humans way more productive, accessing new levels of creativity that you haven't been able to access before, and it is taking things from idea to results at lightning speed, like you've never been able to do before, all on your own. We still need human domain over the AI. AI can't do things that facility managers can do, right? So I like to think of it as making you into more of a superhuman as opposed to taking your place. The second one is AI is always right. We already saw that it's not, right? We saw an example. So AI can also present convincing arguments on things that are incorrect, not because it was trained to do that, okay? So somebody isn't training AI to serve up fake information, but just like earlier we discussed Einstein, right? Having Einstein in your pocket, sometimes, right, in a human-like way, it's going to get some things wrong, and it's supposed to write convincing arguments, okay? So you need to be able to recognize those. We call them hallucinations. We'll cover that again in a minute. And the third thing is ChatGPT learns in real time from your interactions. It doesn't, okay? Good? This is how I like to think of it. A lot of people say AI is going to take my job. At Trilogy, the way we talk about it commonly is because my people are irreplaceable, is that AI is going to take your job to the next level. It's going to unlock levels of creativity, levels of productivity like you would have never imagined. And it may even, like you can see with me, make you a little lazy on the spelling side, grammar side. But thank goodness I've got it in my pocket and I can overcome that. So that's a real person. I did not use AI to generate that. It is a quick aside. Generative AI I'll show you some images in a minute, but it will not serve up actual images of people for copyright reasons, right? Because we're using to create original content. It's not a search engine. Even though it has access to the internet, and it will go to the internet to find information, it's not going to bring those images right back to you, okay? All right, so where do you stand on generative AI? I like to stay positive. We have some people all the way over here in denial, right? Oh, it's just a fad. It's never going to take off. Oh, it'll go away, right? It'll blow over. This doesn't apply to me. Then we have people all the way over here, maybe a little panicky, right? Oh, iRobot-ish kind of a thing. Those things aren't going to help you, okay? I don't know if those are true or not. I don't know if you need to do that. What I like to do is I like to stay positive, okay? So I'm not even in the middle. I'm way over here having a positive mindset because I'm crazy excited about the levels of productivity unlocks. Gets me home to my wife and kids faster. Gets me where I want our business to be, where my people want their futures to be. I see it in real time. I have people in this room that are doing things now that they could not have possibly have done at the speed and with the level of precision without this tool, including myself. So that's where I like to focus on it. I want all of you to think of ChatGPT and generative AI as a colleague, a wildly intelligent, the smartest colleague that you could possibly ever have, all right? Who occasionally gets some things wrong and does some dumb stuff, just like right? Just like a human would, okay? So you have to treat it that way. Okay, let's take a couple questions. Questions? How about 2? Have I lost everybody? Is this boring? Have I? You ready to see what's next? Oh, here we go.
So,
I'll go back so you don't have to play it.
yeah.
It's a little louder than I would have thought it would have been.
And so ChatGPT doesn't learn from your input, it's the trainers at OpenAI that...
Correct. So, yes, thank you. So the question was, does ChatGPT learn from your conversations in real time, right? The answer is, and we're going to cover a little bit more in depth later, but the answer is no. The AI model that is being used to serve up this information is pre-trained, okay? So it's fed, the machine learning part, right, is fed this vast neural network called the large language model. Trillions of points of data, content, okay? Lots and lots of content. So we first train it how to talk like a human and respond like a human. Then we say, just like we would any of us, hey, here, go to college and learn, or go get on the job and learn. Except it has access to the internet and a ton of content that it's been fed. And then trainers take and say, let me show you what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. Let me bring you, let me instill a little humanity, right? Let me instill some ethics in you, just like you would a human, okay? So, except there's thousands and thousands of hours of training happening. So, so it is prone to, just like a human is, it's prone to error, okay? Does that answer the question? Okay. I should, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you said you could start with 0 cost, and if they're not using the data, how does their business model make money? Is there a cost later?
Yeah, so I should say this. I do not work for ChatGPT or OpenAI, and I don't work for Microsoft. So, and I'm not getting a commission or a referral or a kickback for all the subscriptions. There are some paid models. We're going to talk about that. It is, I would imagine, and I don't know this to be true, I probably would ask ChatGPT for this. One of our team members could ask, right? And we'll come back to it. But I would imagine maybe a little loss leader type thing. I also would imagine it's so new and so fresh that they need to see how the public and see how people adopt it. So what better way to get widespread adoption than to give a little bit away for free? So that'd be my guess, but we're going to find out. So by the end of the presentation, we're going to know. All right, let's cover some ideas on how all of you can start using ChatGPT now. I'd like a little participation if I can get it. I want to hear from a few people on what are you working on right now? Let's see if we can do really quickly some like real life use cases based on what you're already working on. Anybody want to go? Doesn't have to be facility management related.
I use it for vacation itineraries.
Ooh. Okay. Vacation planning. No. I wasn't even going to try. And I was hoping I wasn't going to get called out, but I did. Evan? Oh, great. Meeting agendas. So you're putting together meeting agendas right now? How much do you love doing that? I know I don't. Anybody else?
Procedural documents.
Great. So you're putting together some SAPs, SOPs, standard operating procedures. That's a great one. That I would hate the most here. That's on my top list right now. Yep.
Yeah, I do hate it. Yeah.
Ask me later about how we use ChatGPT to create about 100 pages of policy documents that we needed. Risk assessment, risk. Oh yeah, scorecards, assessments. I don't know what that is. I heard scorecards. How about one more? Hydrogen fuel station. Are you testing my knowledge? Let's see if this guy really knows what he's talking about. All right, one more. Scheduling? Scheduling.
Can it do anything to find contacts?
To find you contacts? Like do some prospecting? Let's find out. Okay, we got a great list. We're going to come back to this. All right, let's do a little housekeeping first, all right? Before any of you start going to town on AI and having to create all these miraculous things, like I said it is, I want you to check with your company's AI policy if they have one. If you don't know, talk to your IT department, talk to cyber, talk to your direct leader. Talk to somebody and find out if they have a policy on it, right? We don't want it serving up the Coca-Cola formula and everybody getting panicky, right? And thinking that it's going to be out on the web. And before you know it, there's YouTube videos created about it. Let's avoid all that. Check with your company about it. Next, we talked about hallucinations a little bit. A hallucination just simply is it's serving up, it's got some bad data, right? And it's doing what it was trained to do, which is talk to you. So a lot like we may talk about something that we don't know is factually incorrect. Sometimes it'll do the two. It's not trying to do it on purpose. It's just hallucinating. Copyright considerations. This is new technology, right? It is in its infancy stage. It's growing. So if you're working with content or trying to create content, for instance, you wanted to produce a song that is based on, somebody give me a song. Give me an artist and a song. Guns N' Roses, pick a song. Any song. Sweet Child of Mine. Okay, Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine. Produce me a song that looks just like that. I would probably compare it against the lyrics just to make sure, right? Especially if you're going to go to market with that. If you're just doing it for fun, right? It's probably innocent. But if you're going to go to market with that, right, and start singing it, right, having concerts, just make sure. Accuracy, just check it. Just go if something is critical, right? You're making a critical decision on something. I would definitely go and check, right, the facts before you execute on a critical decision. And it's not perfect yet. All right, to get on ChatGPT, super simple. Everybody know how to get to a browser? Go to openai.com, click on this little button. This is what the button looked like, I think yesterday is when I made the slide. So if it still looks like that today, you're going to click on that button. You can start using it for free. You get what you pay for it though, okay? So to answer your question about versions, free gets you doing a lot of really cool stuff. For $20 a month, it totally energizes what you can do. It gives you access to basically everything, okay? You can do things that we're not going to talk about here. We'll talk about in part 10 of this presentation. But I highly recommend it's worth the $20. If you're a small company and you guys can act nimbly or you can convince your company to pay for it, maybe adopt it for your team, you can go to the team version. That's even better. That's where we operate. Trilogy operates in the $25 a month per user team version. It's worth, don't tell OpenAI this, a whole lot more. I know I'm jacking up the price. The difference would be like having a high schooler in your pocket versus Einstein. A really smart high schooler versus Einstein. We want to have Einstein, right? Okay, so that's what you get for $20 a month. Once you're in, let's look at the window, okay? So this is what it looks like on a desktop or a laptop. It's going to actually look very similar on, actually virtually the same on a phone if you're using the browser on your phone to access it or a tablet. But it's really simple, right? What does it look like, everyone? Yeah, texting, right? Can everybody here text? Yes. Can everybody here write an email? Yes. This is actually less complicated than writing an email. you're going to use what we call the prompt box or the input field. That's how you're going to talk. And above, up here, I don't think you can see my laser pointer. Up here is where it's going to start giving you responses, okay? In the upper left, that's going to tell you what instance you're on. So if you notice, we have the paid version, we're on 4. The free version is 3.5. And there's a whole lot of difference between the 0.5. So don't let the number confuse you. 4 is way more powerful, way faster. Okay, you're going to put a prompt in. So I did something silly and said, hey, give me 20 fun facts about ChatGPT and generative AI. And it said, sure, right? Just kind of flawlessly gave me this response. So it's literally just that simple. If you can chat, you can use generative AI. You now have access to a supercomputer through this little chat box. That's what ChatGPT does. It's the intermediary, okay? It's not the AI. It's just simply a product that OpenAI, that OpenAI has taken and allowed us to be able to access their artificial intelligence models, okay? And there are lots of models. We're going to cover some of them. So the reason Trilogy uses it, it's quite simple. It turns us into supercomputers, and it gives all of my people, including me, a personal assistant, although I do have an executive assistant who's worth gets paid more than 20 bucks a month. But now, all of my people have a personal assistant for $25 a month, because we're on the team version. Who here would not pay $25 a month for an awesome personal assistant that has the internet in their head? None of you? Okay, there's beer, wine, and I think there's some quiches left. Have a great night. For real, who wants a personal assistant for $20 a month? Yeah, of course you do, right? Oh my gosh. I need a new slide. This is just an example of how we use it. So we're writing code with it, right? We're a cleaning company that has some really cool software, right? This is what everybody wonders, like, what's a cleaning company doing with it? Oh my gosh, what are we not doing with it? That's the question you should be asking. We're writing policy. We're helping it write better proposals, better client communication, inspiration. We're taking ideas to results in lightning speed. We're writing code, right? We're repairing code. We're taking and creating emails. We're writing video scripts, marketing scripts. We're taking, and if you go to our website and you look at the last 2 videos that we put on there, those were created, the scripts, with a lot of help from generative AI. It's an iterative process, so that wasn't the first, it didn't kick out the scripts that we used for those videos first. Through a little bit of iterating, just like you would in a brainstorming session, we got to where we needed to be. So I like to give this example. We used, a few weeks ago, we were doing an employee engagement planning. Who here loves employee engagement planning? Okay, great. I love our employees. I don't like writing spreadsheets on how we're going to do 52 weeks of engagement, 52 weeks in advance. It's hard for me to get 1 week in advance done, except this is what my team did. My team took and created a spreadsheet and said, hey, here's 52 weeks. Here's the dates. Here's basically what we're trying to do. Here's what the topic is. Here is what, roughly in row 2 of the spreadsheet, right? Row 1 is a bunch of headers, or a bunch of column titles. But in row 2, here's an example of what I would like. Hey, ChatGPT, can you take and summarize this for me? And it did. Hey, here's what's already in this. This is, because I want to know, does it know, like, can it read this and understand we're kind of looking at employee engagement material here? And then we said, hey, can you just come up with 52 weeks of activities based on the example in row 2? Oh my God, I'm not going to show it to you because it's our secret stuff. But it did all the work and it put it into the spreadsheet for us. It saved my team hours and hours and hours and hours, okay? And we got to actually effectively start using it, and we've been using it. So whereas before, we probably would have went to the back burner, we never would have went to calling it to market, but we never would have rolled it out. Would you have rolled it out, team?
What?
Would you have rolled it out as fast?
They said, you know what, the cool part is, it worked. So we're back here laughing, like, yeah, it really did work.
Can't make this stuff
Seeing
up,
results
folks.
already.
Can't make this stuff up. So this is how facility management professionals can start using it today. You can do it just like how we're doing it, okay? Big company, small company, it doesn't matter. So let's go back to our list. Vacation planning. You're already using it for vacation planning, right? Okay, so What are you doing? Idea bouncing? Are you telling it I'm going to this destination? Help me with some points of interest, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. One might say a search engine can do that. Not the way ChatGPT can. Okay, search engine is going to give you all these ads and all this stuff that you have to sift through and go through the reviews. ChatGPT, if you ask it to, give me 5-star review, points of interest from the last 3 months, and put it in a list and chronological, blah, blah. You could probably ask it, and we're going to be there in 2 weeks, coordinate with the weather. Haven't done that, but you probably could. I would give it a shot, the prompt, because it has access to the internet. It has access to weather data. Meeting agendas. Evan, meeting agenda. It can create that type of content. You need to tell it what you would like in the agenda. Okay, so through a little bit of training and a little bit of prep work, you can get it to create the agenda for you. Okay, and I'll actually roughly show you how to do that sort of in a minute. Standard operating procedures, those are great. Why? Because they stink and there's a lot of components to them. If you have a starting place with those, you can just copy and paste it into the prompt box and say, hey, this is what I'm starting with. This is what I'd like to do. If you're starting from scratch and you're like, I just don't know where to start, tell it. Risk assessments, it's the same thing, guys. Scorecards, tell it what you want, and it's going to kick it out. It's going to give you an iteration. You may or may not like what you got. You're going to keep iterating. Oh, I like this, ChatGPT, but I don't like this, right? It's just like going and driving a new car. Oh, I like the car, but I didn't like the suspension. Well, let's get you over here onto this car, right? That's exactly how it's going to do. Think of it like a person that you're having a conversation with. Hydrogen fuel stations. What are you doing with hydrogen fuel stations that you would want help?
I thought you were going to do a demonstration, just type something.
Yeah, we don't know what it's going to kick out, so I don't want any hallucinations on camera. Just kidding. It's a big rabbit hole. I thought about that for this presentation. We'll save that for like part 2, because we could go down a big rabbit hole. If you're looking for location, Scott, what was that?
Pressure, pipe pressure, things like that.
Ask it. Talk about it. It is a super mathematic computer with access to computing power. Like you just simply ask it, hey, I'm trying to figure out the pressures for a hydrogen storage system. Here's some of the parameters. I don't know where to start. Where should I start? See what it says. Take back what it gave you, and then go back to say, oh, okay, I filled in now some of the blanks. Now tell me again, where should I go from here? That's part of the iterative process. Okay. What else do we have on here? Scheduling, it's the same thing. Prospecting. So it's not going to go out and find prospects for you, but you could ask it to help you with a cold call script. You could ask it for better marketing content, better blog posts, better LinkedIn posts, better Facebook posts, better cold call scripting. I may have already said that. You can ask it to help you put together a prospect database. How to, hey, if I was in the, what business? In the food service business, and we operate, inside facilities, right? Okay. I'm looking for people, for facilities, blah, blah, blah. See what it tells you, right? So a lot of it's going to be a jumping off point. So here are just some of the use cases that we came up with. This list could go on and on. Vendor management, bidding, reports, training materials, budget analysis. We ask it, we feed spreadsheets into it and say, hey, make heads or tails of this. Kind of in a more elegant, direct way, right? That's a little more specific. But show us, hey, take this spreadsheet and just give me a summary. I want to take and I want to provide a summary to a client based on 12 months worth of activity. Can you kick that out in 5 sentences? Because it'll give you 8 or 10 if you don't specify. So I want 5 sentences. Everybody with me still? So this is a huge list of use cases. We've included some of these in your packet. And honestly, you can go to ChatGPT and you just ask it, give me use cases for facility professional use. We use it in other ways too. Advancement, right? I know my team is secretly using it to advance and prove that they're worth way more than I know what they're getting paid now, because they are. Professional development. I learn every single time I use it. I learn how to be a better communicator. It's not helping me with spelling, but it is helping me understand my writing style. It's helping me understand how to be a little more direct with things, right? So it's helping me in ways that that I couldn't imagine directly and indirectly, and for personal, right? I want to have a little fun, right? I asked it one time, somebody else I think brought this up, right? Write a little funny jingle and put my kid's name in it. And then I come home and I sing it to them and they think, wow, this is so cool, right? Dad came up with this jingle. So, or one time I said, hey, write this, I didn't remember what it was. Write this thing, but in the tone of Clint Eastwood. Oh my goodness, right? Like you can take and feed something and say, hey, write this in the tone of, pick a famous person, Thomas Jefferson, right? So 7 years, whoever said that, right? That's exactly how it will talk. It's actually really cool. So any questions? Vicky!
I used it once, and it was just all the text.
Yep.
Saying that by asking, doing the graph and all that, but you can actually get it to talk like Clint Eastwood, so there can be audio
Yeah.
and video.
Yeah, today we're going to teach it to talk like you. Okay? In 10 minutes, we're going to get it to talk like you. All right. Prompt engineering. Okay? This is kind of the make or break it, okay? So if you take away nothing from this presentation today, this is what I want you to take to, okay? You can go to YouTube and you can find out, you can go to ChatGPT, it'll teach you how to use it, right? It'll self-teach you. You can go to YouTube, there's a lot of content out there on how to log in and some other stuff. I want you to focus on prompt engineering. So today we're going to make all of you engineers. Are there engineers in the room already? Great. We're just going to add another notch on your belt, okay? Prompt engineering is just simply talking, right? It's just being a better communicator. So when it comes to generative AI, there's 6 components, okay? In the prompt, we want to include an objective, we want to give context, we want to give some specifics, the ask, what do we want from it? We also want to include some keywords, and we want to talk about limitations. Hey, AI, you've got free reign creativity over the response, or hey, I've got some constraints here, right? Here's what I need. I need a conservative approach to HR policy related to, hey, pick something, right? You include these 6 components in your prompt, you're going to get way better prompts, or you're going to get way better responses. And it's really simple. So here's what it looks like. This is a paragraph. It looks like a conversation, okay? In this example, it's about energy savings, right? So I went to AI and said, hey, I'm looking to reduce energy consumption in our 50,000 square foot office building, which has seen a spike in energy use following a recent expansion. We're in a temperate climate and operate 24/7. Our goal is to achieve a 20% reduction in energy costs within 1 year, despite our outdated HVAC system and the current high energy bills. Can you provide a step-by-step action plan to audit reduce our energy consumption, focusing on both quick wins and long-lasting strategies? We're especially interested in cost-effective measures and we're open to both traditional, innovative, and sustainable technologies, right? Here I've told it, be a little creative with the response, okay? If you don't like the response, you don't pay per response, okay? It's a flat rate. So you can just simply tweak your prompt and get it to focus in a little bit more. This prompt is going to yield way better, way more focused, action-ready responses, okay? We want action-ready. We don't want to have to tweak this a whole lot, right? We don't want to have to do a ton of iterate. We don't have to take what it gave us and say, all right, now I got to strip all this out. I got to customize it to my building, right? I've got to customize it to my floor or my square footage specs. Just tell ChatGPT in a little paragraph or two, and it'll include that in the writing. So when you're doing your standard operating procedures, tell it about the departments it's for and who it's going to affect, and give it all those details so that way it can just put it in there. That way you don't have to fish through it. Oh, insert company name here, insert. Otherwise, that's what it's going to give you. And you're going to look at it and be like, this is a lot of work. I'm not doing this, right? Okay? You could simply say, I want to reduce my energy consumption in my facility today. And I got a nice 10-point action plan, right? But it's very general, right? I'm going to have to go through this and really custom tailor it to my use case. It's actually creating kind of the same amount of work if I would have just did it myself. That's not where I want to live. I want to live right here with very little extra effort, okay? If you are stuck, does anybody feel right now like I'm stuck? Like prompt engineering, like send me to school for that. Is anybody feeling like that right now? A little bit, right? You're feeling like that?
Right.
Yes? Okay. I got the answer for you. Go to ChatGPT and ask it. Hey, I want to write a really good prompt, basically, right? Here's what I put. I want your help in reducing the energy consumption of my commercial office building. What information do you need in order for me to do this? It'll tell you. Copy and paste this into a document, fill in the blanks, feed it back into ChatGPT. There you have your custom prompt generation. It will tell you what it needs. So if you're stuck, go to ChatGPT. Okay? If you're stuck on prospecting, ask it, hey, I need help prospecting. See what it says. It'll give you. Check this out. I think this is so cool. Okay, this is where I want you guys to really like open your imagination. So I'm a facility manager. I'm down on the river walk, and I see this beautiful pot of flowers. Right, this photo I took offline because it's winter in Michigan right now. I really want these flowers in our front lobby. What are they? Okay, take a little picture of it, and I just go to ChatGPT, right? Because I have it in my pocket. Because you can have it on the app or on your browser. Hey, what flowers are these? First shot, they're begonias. Oh my God, I knew they were begonias, right? But just for this example, like what? Begonias. And I get a little extra. They're known for their bright, vibrant colors and full rounded petals. Begonias are a diverse genus of plant used widely. Like what? Like to me that amazes me. Like and then we're just touching the surface here, right? So take it with you, right? If you see something, I wonder if this asphalt needs to be replaced. Take a picture of it. Ask ChatGPT, hey, what would you do? Right? It's all kinds of things. Hey, I think I see a safety violation here. Like, I wonder what it thinks. What does it see? So let's just talk a minute about model types. Okay. So ChatGPT and what we've been looking at is a text-to-text model. Okay, meaning I give it text, it gives me text back. It's also text to image. I ask it for an image and describe it. It spits an image back. It also is an image to text. I give it an image. It gives me text back. And I can also give it an image and say, hey, give me an image back. Those are specific use cases, okay? Now, ChatGPT is a multi-model, okay, where it's kind of integrated multiple models into one chat box. Within ChatGPT, there's other models called like DALL-E, which is specifically tailored for images, way more powerful, okay? And I'll show you an example. So you're going to want to take and use the model, which most of us here I think are going to be doing text to text, text to image, right? You're going to be in ChatGPT most of the time, okay? But there's a lot of AI out there. It is in its infancy, and there are a lot of products using AI to do all kinds. I mean, they're even creating video content. There's a service out there right now where you can record about 15 minutes of you speaking, and then it'll produce videos based, like it looks like you talking. You just type what you want to say, right? Brandon is the best. And it will have you saying Brandon is the best. It's a little crazy. ChatGPT is not doing that. So I want to look at some prompts. So here is a prompt that I gave ChatGPT and this other competing product called ClipDrop. Not recommending ClipDrop. The image is not great, right? And it produces a lot of images like this. Maybe better in the future, but it's not great. And I just simply said, create a photo of a facility manager meeting with a parking lot contractor, right? Not a really great prompt, but it's not bad, right? That's actually not a real photo, by the way, right? It can't create a real photo because it can't create copyright, right? I can't go to the internet and bring in copyright material. So it put that together kind of like an artistic rendering, which I think is pretty cool. Then I said, all right, let's give it a better one, okay? So I asked it for, give me a woman dressed in business casual attire who is depicting a facility manager and a man dressed in construction. It's better, but like this guy's got like cameras all over his belt, okay? So, right? They're not pointing at a pothole, right? I mean, he's in a suit, right? Like, that's not what I was thinking. But I didn't tell it not to give me a suit, right? Like, so the image on the right is awful. Right, it's just flat out like awful. So just again, right, just to be fair to this other platform, that's what I said. But then I went to DALL-E, okay, and that's OpenAI's more tailored platform for imaging, and gave it the same thing. It's a little better, right? It's getting a little better. It's an iterative process. I literally asked it the same prompt, tweaked it a little bit, and it gave me more images. So we were getting closer, all right? Some things it does really good, right? We put out some marketing material recently, and we needed some imaging. And instead of, taking the photos ourselves and doing that, we used ChatGPT to create it. It created some really cool stuff right out the gate. So, better prompts, better responses. Everybody?
Better prompts, better responses.
Can somebody bring in coffee, please? Everybody needs a cup of coffee. Let's try one more time.
Better prompts, better responses.
Okay, we're not going to go through this, but you can see better response, better prompt. The one on the left is generalized. The one on the right is giving me more specifics for what I asked it to do, okay? Here I'm trying to convince my boss to approve money, $200 and some thousand to replace the north parking lot, okay? Has anybody ever had to do that here? Yes, right? Have any of the contractors in the room had to convince a client to replace their parking lot? Can go both ways. Remember this picture earlier? Let's say this was a real picture, right? Let's say I wanted it to take in, I need to write some ladder training. Who wants to do that? Like, I'm literally like getting tired thinking about that. So I'm probably not going to do it because I'm going to have to go to a search engine and I'm going to have to take and sift through a ton of content and create things, and nobody really, and then where do I get started? What do I do it? So what I'm going to do is go to ChatGPT within the same conversation and say, hey, give me some training material. So that way this guy doesn't fall off the ladder. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Even suggests things like training assessments, and it's a 4-hour, here's the equipment, here's the trainer qualifications. I didn't even ask that. It was a simple prompt. I just said perfect. Now think like a facility manager and create a training program that I can use to train people on proper ladder use. So better prompt, I probably would have got better. So iterate, rinse, wash, repeat. The more you use it, the better you'll be. Questions? We're getting like a little over time, so I got a couple more slides. No questions? I'll be around at the end. I want to cover some of the, just one or two things that's in the toolkit in front of you, so that way you can walk out of here feeling even more confused than what you did when you walked in here. I'm just kidding, by the way. All right. In your packet, you've got a toolkit, okay? In the toolkit, you have a ChatGPT trainer, okay? It's got a number 1 on it. You've got the guide. There's a digital companion, which is the template. All you have to do is scan that QR code, and you can download the digital template that goes along with it. You're going to want the template with all this stuff. Our team spent a lot of time putting together and curating this for your facility managers. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Don't create the template on your own. It's digital. It's a Word doc. You'll love it. So you'll have that on number 1. Number 2 is about finding your writing style. If you want to train ChatGPT to talk like you and give responses like you, right? Vicki, you were kind of alluding to that, right? Who wants to take what ChatGPT regurgitates and then have to put your own little pizzazz on it, right? And put your own tone and stuff, right? You don't want, somebody asked me earlier, can you pick out AI-created blog posting? Absolutely. But the ones where people just simply said, hey, use my tone and style, almost indistinguishable from what their original content was. So this tool number 2, is going to teach you how to do that. Tool number 3 is a scope of work creator. There's a digital companion with that. Any of you have trouble writing scope of work or kind of hate doing it and kind of avoid it? Yeah? No? Nobody does? Okay, since nobody raised their hand, none of you will want to use that tool. Okay, Evan is. Thank you, Evan. So again, number 3 is a guide with a digital companion. There's kind of a theme here, right? Templates. It's like a prompt template, right? So if you're in Word or Google Docs, whatever word processor you use, you're going to kind of start making a little library of templates for things that you do, making agendas, right? Whatever it is you're doing, standard operating procedures, right? That way you can use the template. You can just grab it, copy it, paste it, and you can go, right? You go to market a lot faster. Number 4 is prompt engineering. That formula that was up on here is in writing in a how-to in number 4. And then some bonus material. If you hit the QR code and download, you're also going to get kind of an intro to ChatGPT, a little refresher about what we're talked about in generative AI, so you can amaze all your friends with all your AI wizardry and knowledge. And you're going to get 100 prompts that you can start using today as a facility management professional. And you're going to get 30 FM use cases. So highly recommend everybody download it. I'm not going to go through all of these, but what I do want to go through is the ChatGPT trainer, because I really want you to like start. I don't want you to use it as like a let's have a little fun, get it to write some Shania Twain, or like, I don't want you doing it like that. You can do that, but like, remember the video earlier? We want to like unclutter your professional life and make it easier. So what I want to do is use this guide to take and train ChatGPT more about you, okay? Now, if you go to the internet, there's a couple ways you can do this. One way is to take these instructions, they call it, and just put them as in default into ChatGPT. I'm going to say don't do that because you don't actually always want it to talk like you. okay? If you simply, every new chat that you start, if you simply take what I have in the template and you start with that and say, hey, this is, you actually don't have to say anything. In the template, if you just copy and paste it, it'll say, this is me. Then you say after that, now respond like me based on the information I provided with my prompts, okay? Within that conversation. Now it's only gonna remember what you put in for that particular conversation. If you open up a new chat, you're gonna have to copy and paste it again, but it's literally just a copy and paste. It's not that much work. It's going to give you way more custom tailored responses, curated to your use case. So you're gonna tell it things about your company. Go to your company's website. What are your, if you're allowed to use it for corporate use, right? Go to your company's website, get the vision, mission, values, right? Get whatever information about what products do you sell, what kind of work do you guys do, put that in there. Then you're gonna take, there's a use case for that, right? If you're in sales, right? What's your target market? Then you're gonna do that for your department. You're gonna do that about your position. And then you're gonna do that with your writing style. So does everybody know their writing style? If I were to ask everybody to give me their tone, structure, and, I mean, could you guys just give that to me right away? I know I couldn't, so we created a guide for that. This is basically what the templates look like. You've got an instruction sheet followed by a template. The template part, the second sheet, and sometimes there's a third and fourth, that's what you're gonna copy and paste into ChatGPT. It tells you how to do that. If you're struggling with it, call me, call my office, email us. We're more than happy to spend as much time with you as possible explaining it. If you don't know your writing style, that's section 4 in that all about me. You can use tool number 2, okay? It's the same process. Use tool number 2 and ChatGPT to discover your writing style by just simply giving it a few sample pieces. You give it a couple emails, right? Non-confidential, right? Just make sure they're, there's no privacy concerns. Feed it. When I did it, I gave it a few we use Slack internally, right? I gave it a few of my Slack messages, give it a couple memos, right? Call them memos, but give it a couple memo-like things, and then it spit out my tone, right? My sentence structure. It also gave me some, if you use our template, it'll also give you a little style guide, offer some improvements on communication based on what you fed it. It's really cool. So there's 4 tools. There's the scope of work creator. Here's the custom prompt engineering. There's some bonus material. You can use this QR code. It's in all your packets to access it. Here's what we learned today. Everybody know about ChatGPT and you can train it in OpenAI. You can teach it to your colleagues?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes? Everybody have an idea on how they can use it today?
Yes.
Yes? Everybody got some tools to take an advantage over everybody else who didn't show up to today's session, right?
Yes.
To get more out of it? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Mission accomplished.